Fuck, I don't like sobriety. This is gonna get weird.
Welcome to the G.N.A podcast, Games, Nerds, and Alcohol, where I am already drunk, and we're going to talk about stuff. Yes, I am back on the horse, finally off the COVID death trail, feeling better. Still a little bit of a cough, but fuck it, I'm drinking tonight, so been pre-graining, feeling great. I got two beautiful people joining me tonight. I got Zyberblood. How you feeling, Zyber?
Oh, well, I've actually been able to make it to 2 shows in 2 months, so better than when I went out in my depressive states.
Well, I can tell you that right now, looking at you, my nipples are so hard. Like, so hard.
Only your nipples?
Well, I mean, yeah. Anyway, we got Erin the Destroyer joining us tonight. How you doing, Erin?
I'm doing fantastic. I'm glad to be back. I wasn't here last week, so I'm pretty pumped.
And you were sorely missed.
Even though I don't know what we're discussing.
Oh, well, last week was the Book of Boba Fett, which you still have to watch, I think, right?
I do. But I have to wait for... I watch it with my fiance and my brother, so we have to schedule all 3 of us to be in the same place at the same time to watch it, and it's difficult, so we haven't gotten there yet.
Don't listen to the last episode, obviously, but when you watch it, I'm dying to see or to hear what you got.
I don't know what just happened there, sorry. Yeah, no, I'll definitely weigh in after I watch it. I'll let y'all know. I'll pop into Discord or something.
Rock on. Well,
what
tonight, I think you're just, I think your video feed is just bombing out. It looks like you might have a struggling connection. So if you're, you said your significant is on ESO?
Yes. Yes, I did.
Maybe.
Dexter's connection.
Dexter's connection. That's what it is. Fucking blame Dexter's connection. God damn it, Dexter. I hope he actually listens to the show, because if he does, that's going to be fucking funny when he hears that. Well, let's kick into it. First segment of the show. What is everybody drinking? I always say I'm going to go first because I'm being totally lame. But tonight, I'm going to fucking steal the show because I'm going to go first because I'm actually drinking tonight. I've been pre-graining for probably the past hour. I have been drinking just, I was trying to figure out what the hell I wanted to drink, getting back into having some drinks. And I settled on Misunderstood ginger spice whiskey. Fucking stuff is so good. I'm mixing it with some...
Solid.
Yeah, man. I'm mixing it. And you know what? You can get it in New York. I physically cannot find it in Virginia. It is not in stores here. You can't even order it. Like, if you go in there and he's like, hey, can you order me this shit? They're like, nope, can't get it. Sorry. Like, fuck you. I got it mixed with some apple cider because my wife was kind enough to remind me that I bought 2 things of apple cider, and Shadow Fox came over and was supposed to drink some, and he never did. Son of a bitch. Left his shorts here, didn't drink my apple cider. I'm starting to feel like he doesn't like me anymore.
So he left shortsless?
Well, technically, yeah, because he didn't have his shorts.
All right.
He went to the gym with me, and he traded out. He changed out of his gym shorts, and they were all like fucking disgustingly soaked in like pool water and shit. He didn't want to throw them into his car, so I was like, just leave them here.
There we go. Context.
Yeah, I was like, just leave them here. I'll wash them. So I haven't washed. They're sitting out front, and he just hasn't taken them back yet. But ginger spice whiskey, Misunderstood, fantastic flavors. Has a nice ginger snap to it. Has a very spiced flavor overall. Mixed in with apple cider, it's barely even noticeable because the apple cider and all the spices that are in it complement the ginger spice whiskey so much. So when you take that first sip, it's all apple cider with just this hint of ginger behind it. But then as it washes over and it goes down, the aftertaste is so smooth and ginger. It's just fantastic. And it goes down so smooth that you can have, 7 or 8 shots in the process of an hour, and it doesn't even feel like you've had anything until you go to stand up, of course, and then you realize you're fucked. But Erin, what are you drinking with us tonight?
I have it's Guinness, but it's the nitro cold brew coffee, and it's actually only 4%, which I did not realize until I was reading it before we started. And the first time I had one and I didn't like it, but then I was like, well, I'll give it another shot. And I actually kind of think it's delicious now. I don't know what the difference is, but it's pretty good.
That's how Guinness is, man. Like, you'll try a Guinness and be like, wow, my God, why am I drinking this? And then like a month later, you'll try it again and you'll be like, where has this been all my life?
Oh, see, I was in love with the first Guinness I ever had, but then I was like, the coffee one came out and I was really excited and I didn't like it. And now I do, and I don't know why. They're the same. I don't know what happened, but it's kind of fucking delicious, honestly. And it's only 4%, so I feel like it's like you could like pound a couple of them before you feel it.
So what is that? I haven't had one. I saw one in the store and I didn't pick it up. But what's it? I guess what's the profile on it? What's the main flavors? What do you get?
It tastes much more like a coffee than it does Guinness. It honestly tastes like if you just had like you made your coffee in the morning and then you put ice in it. But just that, like plain coffee, nothing in it taste, just cold. But then with like a little bit of that like burnt kind of Guinness taste. And it doesn't have as much of the bitterness in it as the regular one. It's almost like a little bit like watered down almost. Like it's easier. It's not as thick. Not that it's thick, but it's not as thick as regular one either.
So you would say it tastes like coffee that's been in a wood cask?
Yeah, it tastes... Yeah, I guess that's accurate.
That
it's sounds
interesting. Like I'm interested. See, I'm not a coffee fan. I don't like the flavor of coffee pretty much at all. But there are certain things that I like coffee flavored, if that makes any sense. Like there are some stouts that have a little bit of coffee kick to it that I'm okay with. But if it literally tastes like I'm tongue punching the dirt star of a coffee bean, then I'm like, pass.
No, it's much more like mellow. It's not very bitter. It's not as thick as regular Guinness. It's kind of like baby Guinness. Like it's like beginner Guinness, if you will. I don't know what else to call it.
I dig it. What about you, Zyber? What are you drinking with us tonight, man?
Well, I am doing Coke and coffee. That's about it. I'm lame.
Jesus Christ, you're doing cocaine and coffee?
Yeah, cocaine and coffee.
My God, man, your heart is going to explode.
That's what I aim for, man. I mean, live dangerously. Like that one song, Jumpstart My Heart.
I mean, if you're going to do it, you might as well fucking do it right? I mean, just fucking go for it.
I want to be awake for that shit.
Jesus Christ, pop a couple Cialis while you're at it. At least then when you die, they'll be like, well, at least the fucker died happy.
Well, I could do that. I could pop all my pills.
No, don't pop them all. I said a couple, like 2. I watched Sex send me to the ER.
I'll do 6. I'll crush them up really fine. Do a Hoover of them.
Dude, have you guys seen that show, Sex Sent Me to the ER?
I have.
Yes.
Like, I was watching it the other day, and I don't know why the fuck I turned it on. I really have no clue why the fuck I turned it on. But I was watching it the other day, and the guy went to the ER, because of course, he had an erection like that was lasting longer than it should, and it started to hurt. Like, I don't know if anybody out there has ever had an erection for longer than, like, an hour. You realize that
good old priapism.
Yeah, you realize that it starts to hurt. Like it's like it's like a muscle that you use over. Like you just take a dumbbell and just do preacher curls. Like I don't care, take a 5-pound dumbbell or whatever and just do preacher curls with it. Like you could probably knock out 100 of those and you're like, I'm fine. But do that for an hour and all of a sudden your arm is ready to fall off. That's your penis. Okay? Like, now imagine timesing that by 4. And that's how long this dude had a friggin' erection for. He had it for like 3 and some odd hours. And he goes to the ER. And he's like, well... And after they, like, grill him... This is the funny part. They're asking him, did you take any pills? Did you do any of this? He's like, no. And then they're, like, finally grilling him. They're like, look, you had to have taken something. He's like, well... I took some of these pills. It's like, yeah, they're Viagra. It's like, how many did you take? Well, one really wasn't doing anything, so I took 4 more. Like, you took 5 Viagra. Like, yeah, like, you realize that it takes time to kick in, right? Well, I mean, I waited 5 minutes and nothing was happening. Dude had an erection, and then, like, they're trying to explain to him the shit that's going to go bad if they don't fix it. Did you know, like, okay, here's a pop quiz. What happens to your penis after 4 hours of an erection? Anybody know?
The blood thickens.
Mm-hmm.
And if it goes for too long with that blood being thickened, it damages the, I can't remember what they're called, but the dual fucking pouches that the blood goes in, and then you could lose your penis or never ever get an erection again.
Yeah, it's called necrotic flesh. Your penis starts to rot because the blood goes in and the blood don't come out. And there's Erin looking at us like, really? Fucking really, guys?
No, it's not that. I just don't understand why somebody would, like, want to mess around with, like, specifically, like, that appendage. Like, I feel like that's something they'd be like, hey, maybe don't, like, take a lot of risks, you know what I mean? Like, with my penis. Don't get super risky with your genitals like that. Like, let's take the recommended amount of pills. And also, like, lie about it and be like, no, I didn't take anything. I don't know what you mean. Instead of being, like, immediately like, yeah, I ate 10 Cialis or whatever. Like, I immediately, if I went there and I thought I might lose my genitals, like, I would tell them everything. I'd be like, I took an ibuprofen once when I was 10. Like, I'll tell them everything that's ever happened in my entire life. Like, save me. Like, I'll hold nothing back.
Yeah, like, there was one time when I was at the circus and I saw this clown bend over. I don't know why, but I popped an erection then. Does that have anything to do with now? I'm just checking.
Or like in Letterkenny, I mean, the incident of getting tuna fish stuck up in there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it is hard to get tuna fish out of your dick hole. No, but seriously, like, I mean, I like, logically in my mind, as a dude, okay? And this isn't meant to be anything else than, like, I mean, well, factual, really. I mean, a guy has to, and I do air quotes here for those people who can see, has to perform. Right? I mean, if we don't get it hard, like, if we can't perform, not much happens. So, I mean, I could see the logic around, well, shit, I'm not getting hard. I should take more pills. These pills are supposed to make you hard. Logically, in my brain, I can see how I would get to that conclusion. However, logic stops there. When I see on the package, it says only one every 24 hours. That would tell me, if one's not working well, I should go back and maybe, I don't know, talk to the doctor.
Maybe he was like, well, if I just don't take them for the rest of the week, then it's fine. It'll just even out. Like, if I just eat 7 today, I just won't touch them until next week, you know? I don't know.
I'll be fine. I can just take them all now. It's kind of like that thing where it's like, you only have 1 drink a day. Well, I only have 1 drink a day. I just drink them all on Friday.
Or it's like that whole thing of people that take more vitamins than what they need. I'll just piss out the rest.
Well, I mean, yeah. Well, anything, there's a toxic level of anything that you take. The body is really good, though, about, like, anything extra just dumping out. But, you know, there's only so much you can, like, filter through. And your kidneys have got to filter through all that shit. Like, everything you put in there, your kidneys have got to be going through. So, everybody, if you're listening, drink lots of water. Kidneys need it. Help filter shit out. Yeah. So you're doing cocaine. You're doing Guinness the coffee stout. What am I? Oh, misunderstood whiskey. Yeah, that's what I'm fucking drinking. I've drank a lot of whiskey.
And coffee.
Oh, and coffee. Yep, cocaine and coffee. I forgot that. You are doing cocaine and coffee. I think that covered it. All right, State of Games. I swear we're going to get through this show. I swear it. State of Games. State of Games is where we talk about what we've been playing for the past week, or we pontificate on just what we feel gaming is today. So let's reverse that around. Zyber, what is your State of Games there, guy?
Well, my State of Games has been about maybe 4 minutes of Metroid Dread. I didn't really get much of a chance to play it. Then primarily Dying Light, which I'm actually enjoying.
The original?
Going solo. Not doing a multiplayer online or anything.
You're the first Dying Light, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I actually really enjoy that game, but I get so fucking frustrated because I like to play games with people. Like, I'm a social gamer. But, like, Dying Light, I don't want to play with anybody. Because every time I've started playing that game, and I fall into the same goddamn trap. Every time I start playing that game, I start playing it, and then, like, even I'll start playing it with somebody, and we'll both be the same level for, like, the first couple of days. But then they'll play, and they'll, like, max out-level their character. And then they'll jump in the next time I get a chance to play, and they're just fucking crushing everything with the best weapons and everything. And I'm running in like, dude, I'm like swinging my cod here. I'm doing no damage. Like, you're wrecking people left and right, and it's taking me 5 minutes to take out one zombie. Something is wrong here. And it just totally deflates my fun.
I have it on the thing of where it's Nightmare. If I get annoyed with it, I may as well do it Dark Souls style and play a Nightmare.
Oh, yeah.
Because even Dark Souls on normal is a nightmare.
Oh, yeah.
So.
100%. So you said you got to play about 4 minutes of Metroid Dread?
Yeah.
So it's like 3.5 minutes of cuddle time?
Yep. Absolutely. I barely got the tip.
Dude, you know what's the worst part? I bought Metroid Dread probably... Jesus, what is it? It's February now, isn't it? I bought it back in like fucking December. I want to say it was December. Maybe it was early January. But I bought it, and I still have yet to play it. I still have yet to boot it.
That's pretty much all I did was get through the story, save the damn game, and had to power it off because I went to work. And then I was like, oh, well, I'll play some Dying Light. Oh, wait, I have been playing Beat Saber as well. So there is that.
Yeah. Beat Saber's fun, man.
Yeah. I got a good burn today.
Yeah. Sorry I couldn't hang out longer earlier. I got back to the house.
It's fine.
The wife was cooking dinner.
The kitchen was on fire, so you had to go check it out.
Yeah, it was all that shit. What about you, Erin? What's your State of Games?
I have been playing Fallout 4, and I started over, so I'm only like a couple hours in, and I picked a companion that I like, and I feel like it's like a real-life relationship. Like, we're not dating yet, and she got all pissed off at me already for shit, and it's like real life. Somebody nags at you, and eventually you go to sleep, and that's like the whole thing.
You didn't take Cogsworth?
No, I didn't take Cogsworth. I went and found Kate at the combat zone.
Oh, okay.
Kate. I like Kate.
I respect that. I respect it.
She's my favorite companion. I just like her because she just likes to drink and yell at people. It's like my favorite.
Yeah, Piper gets really annoying, so I try to leave her behind.
I used, before I picked up Kate, I used Nick Valentine for a little bit, but like, I really like him and I think he's cool, so I was like, I don't know if he's one of the ones that can't die, so it just stressed me the fuck out. So I'm like, you gotta go back to the detective agency. I gotta go get somebody else. Like, I can't handle this.
Nice. Oh shit. Fallout's a great game. Like, I played the original Fallout when it came out. Loved it. Absolutely fucking loved it. Sucked at it. I think I finally beat that game well after Fallout 2 came out. Even though I bought Fallout 2 on release, I still hadn't beaten Fallout 1. Played Fallout 2, loved Fallout 2, just the quirky humor. And then when Fallout 3 came out, I was really skeptical that Bethesda was going to pull it off. But I got to admit, Bethesda fucking nailed it. Home fucking run. And then even Obsidian did great with Fallout New Vegas. Was really impressed with what I did there. The only thing that I had the same gripe that I think everybody had was that it was just such a barren world compared to Fallout 3. But on the flip side of that, it was really supposed to be a barren world. I mean, it's a fucking desert. Like, it's Las Vegas. It's a fucking desert. It's not like there's a whole lot out there.
I started with Fallout 3, so I haven't played the first two, so I didn't know about them, but I played Fallout 3 and I really liked it. But I like New Vegas a lot more, and it's like weird reasons, but like I felt Fallout 3 just like it looked a lot darker, just like everything in general, even during the day, was just so much darker, and I really liked how much brighter it was, like the lights of New Vegas just during the daytime. I didn't mind that it was a little more barren, because then you'd eventually find something terrible that'd try to kill you. Like I don't know, I really love the Fallout games, except for 76. That's trash, and I hate it.
Yeah, we can just not talk about 76. Like, I tried that a couple of times, and I just... Like, it has a fun premise. Like, on paper, it should be fun. But in practice, it just... I don't know. It just didn't nail what I needed to. There's just, like, the VAT system just did not work in it. And the VAT system really makes the Fallout games.
Yeah, that's true. I just saw it when it was like a buggy dumpster fire that was like literally unplayable, and then I was like, yeah, forget this. This is garbage, and I'm not going to look at it again ever. Sorry, I'm also fighting with my camera. I don't know why it wants to keep shutting me off, but I'm not going to give up. Every time it goes off, I'm going to click it again. I don't care. I'll fight with it forever.
I would actually say just leave it off, maybe, because you're also cutting out volume or audio-wise, too. So I think you just might have a bad connection.
Oh, yeah. Well, I didn't realize, but I think it might be because of the shitty weather. Like, we had that really, really high wind. They might be working on power lines. They were really close to my house. I don't know why that didn't occur to me until just now, that could be causing these issues. But, yeah, it could be that there's a bunch of power lines down. It's just a mess.
The wind is fucking atrocious. It's been like this ever since yesterday.
Yeah, it was windy down here, too. Like, it was crazy. It was, like, the wind was howling for the past couple of days. I mean, it's been warm, thankfully. It's only been dropping down to, like, low 30s at night, and it's been in the 50s and 60s during the day. But the wind has just been howling. And where I work, the building is like an H, and then there's a separate building with a long passage between it. And as soon as you get like around the one corner where you start heading towards the other building, like the wind just it's like a wind tunnel, and it literally will blow you right the fuck over. It was funny as hell, because I saw somebody there's golf carts there to like go back and forth through the buildings. And I saw somebody in a golf cart, and the golf cart started to like do like a two-wheeled lift as a gust of wind went by, and I'm like, that fucker's going over. And I was just sitting there watching. I'm like, oh man, it's like, you don't get to see this every day. And then at a level, it corrected itself out. And I was like, oh man.
Well, the weatherman too, like nonchalantly is like, and there'll be gusts of up to 50, whatever.
My state of games is, I've been playing some Beat Saber, because that is uber fucking fun. Hold on. Elder Scrolls Online, I jumped into that. I think I only jumped in one day, bounced up to level 6, which I felt pretty good about in the short time I was playing. I hadn't played Elder Scrolls in so fucking long, but was super stoked about playing some of that. I've been playing some State of Decay 2 on my sex box, because I finally got one, so I figured I might as well fucking use it. What else? There's one other game I've been playing. What the fuck is the name? Oh, Outer Wilds. If you've not played Outer Wilds, that game is It's like a Groundhog Day. I don't want to say roguelike because I don't think it's really roguelike. Maybe it is. I mean, it's not super difficult, though. I kind of put really difficult with roguelike. But it's like a Groundhog's Day where you're a space explorer on this planet, and then you go out. I think I talked about this before. You jump out into space, and a supernova resets everything every single 20 minutes or so of gameplay. Super fun.
So it's like an episode
interesting.
of Star Trek.
Yeah, it is kind of. If in Star Trek you were in this rinky-dink like Apollo lander style ship, you know those games where like you've got to deal with the physics and you just have like a downward blast and you're just like woo, and you're just like blasting up and you've got to use like the angle, like it's like that, only bigger. It's an interesting game. If you haven't played it, go at least Google it and check out on YouTube. Check it out. It's pretty fun. But I got to tell you this. I got to tell you this little story because it just reminded me. We always used to have on this show a segment of story time with Cecil. In fact, I think Admiral Oreo recorded it for me the one time where he just was like, "Story time with Cecil." I gotta find that. Let's see if I can bring that one back. But anyway, so we're sitting at the dinner table. I sent my wife, daughter, and one of my daughter's friends off to the ballet. Because my daughter hasn't been to the ballet. She's a dancer. She loves it. So I said, hey, go see the ballet. And I said, here's 3 tickets. You pick who you want to go. You can pick me and your mom. You can pick your friends, whatever you want to do. You tell us and we'll do it. So she chose my wife and one of her friends. I'm like, cool. Peace. Have a great time. So while we're sitting at the table, we're eating dinner and my daughter, of course, throws me right on the spot, and she's like, because she said something about a story, and I was like, well, I mean, it's like I got stories coming out of my ears. Like I literally, like, if you ever seen the movies Porky's, like Zyber, you were there. We fucking lived the movies Porky's. Like that was literally our childhood.
Can confirm.
So, I've got stories coming out my ears. And she's like, come on, Dad, now you gotta tell a story. I'm like, what? I'm like, all right, what do you want? Do you want a story that's just funny or you want like an injury story that's funny? And she's like, we were talking about D never taking a dump at my house again. And she's like, you gotta tell that story. I'm thinking to myself, God, that story is way too long to tell right now. I'm like, and plus we're all eating dinner. I don't think we want to talk about somebody dropping a deuce in the house. I was like, no, I'm not telling that story. She's like, we got to tell a story. So she's like, tell the story about when you broke your back. I'm like, Jesus Christ. No, kid. I was like, what? Do you want an injury story? She's like, yeah, okay, an injury story. So I told her the time that Gur and I went up to Killington, and like I literally just like snow plowed on my face at the very end of the day after snowboarding all day. And of course, her friend Brianna is just trying to be nice and not spit her food on me, and there's Bot just laughing her head off, and I'm just like, all right, kid, I told the story, now you guys gotta go do your shit.
That makes me think of the Killaton trip where I can't remember who it was. It was like Gur or Nick or someone kept on going to a food stand getting free food. They had like Snow Jam or something.
Oh, I don't think I was there for that one. Because the only time I went to I've been to Killington twice. Once was with Gur, and another time was with my friend Jamie, and I think his name was Bruce Brockway, I think. Yeah, and and her boyfriend Adrian, who he fucking hates me. Like, with a fiery passion. They had been dating for like 6 months, and he never saw her boobs. I saw her boobs before he did, and it pissed him off so bad. And the only reason she did it is because I said I wasn't going to show up to a party unless I saw boobs, and no boobs were shown. And she asked me as I was leaving, she's like, did anybody flash boobs? I'm like, no, nobody did. It sucked. So she's like, woo! And I'm like, oh, great. And now okay, first off, you got to realize that this chick is like my little sister. I've known this chick like since she was like 12 or 13. So zero attraction whatsoever. But of course, my friend Brando was with me, and as soon as she flashes, his face just went to like straight to what? Alrighty, so what did I miss? No, I don't think I missed anybody. I think everybody's here. All right, Erin, you still with us?
Yeah, I'm still here. I gave up on my camera.
Oh, okay. Just making sure. Yeah, so it'll be hard to see the whole, like, this if you want to talk. So just fucking jump right in. I'll edit out later.
Perfect. I'll try my best not to interrupt, because I can still see you, so I'll read I'll read facial expressions and shit. I'll figure it out.
No, fucking be assertive. Jump right in. Just be like, bitch, I want to talk now!
It's my fucking turn.
Alright, so the topic for tonight is actually a retro game review, which some people may have played, some people may not have. Hopefully they have at least read a little bit about it, or maybe watched a YouTube video. But we're actually going to talk about the 1986 game Kid Icarus. Was it 86? Shit. Did I get the year wrong?
No, it's 86. It came to North America in 87.
Yes, I got it right.
87
okay.
Here. Unless you were in Japan.
Oh shit, was it 87 here? Oh, it was 86 in Japan. Yeah. God damn it.
Oh, don't you worry. I wrote it down. I told you I did homework. I have notes. You can't see them because my camera doesn't work, but I have a whole fucking cheat sheet. 1987 in the US.
Nice. I literally was just Googling it because I was like, oh fuck, when did it actually come out? Oh shit. Well, anyways. So, Kid Icarus, 1986 in Japan, 1987 in the United States. Kid Icarus was it was kind of an amalgamation of a few different games, and they kind of took all the great parts of a few different games and mashed them into one. They took the jumping out of like Mario, or platforming out of like, you know, like Donkey Kong. They took the brain melting. They took like the power-ups and level-ups from like Zelda, where there were like those RPG elements of leveling yourself up or power-ups. And they took the shooting from like Metroid. And they took kind of all those and mashed them into the game, and you play a character called Pit. And Pit, the inevitable storyline is you're trying to like fucking kill Medusa or free the princess or some shit like that.
Both of those.
Yeah, that. Yeah,
and collect the 3 holy treasures.
Well, you needed the 3 holy treasures to beat Medusa. Do you remember the 3 holy treasures?
Arrow, the wing boot things, and a shield, I believe.
Oh, okay, so now here's the trick. Why did he need those 3? Like, what was so special about those 3 treasures?
You turn into that super form of Pit.
Well, yeah, that's accurate. The boot things gave you wings to allow you to fly. The shield was a mirror shield so that you wouldn't turn to stone when Medusa looked at you. And the arrows were the only thing that could pierce her hide.
You're going to have to fix the Kid Icarus Wikipedia page, because it doesn't say none of that shit on there. I took notes, and I just pulled up the page so that I could, like, follow along and refresh my memory. And there's nothing about needing any of that shit to defeat her in the Wikipedia at all. It just doesn't say it. It just glosses over it for some reason.
And that is why I always say I value experience over Google. Because there's like some shit Wikipedia. You can never find. Well, yeah, I mean, Wikipedia is just as good as the people who are fucking editing it, which that's anybody, so, and the whole world sucks.
It was just really funny, because I just saw this thing about Wikipedia, and how, like, for certain pages, and I don't know what they are, but, like, almost anybody can edit Wikipedia, except for certain pages, and then you have to have, like, so many like peer-reviewed edits under your belt to edit certain things. And I think like the real high-tier shit, like whatever it is, I think it's like government crap, you have to have like 500 edits or something. But like almost everything on there, they don't give a shit. Like anybody can just get on there and say whatever they want until someone else finds it. That's just a fact now. It just is.
which is hilarious. I mean, that's why like Wikipedia in general is like a great idea. Just, hey, everybody, come in here, put some facts. And as long as people are like not trolling, it's a great fucking idea. But, you know. Hey.
Speaking of trolling, I just got a great idea for a troll. Like, just pick some random people and start a Wikipedia page about them and just absolutely troll a person until, like, there's some kind of correction to it, or people just add on to it like it's one of those creepypastas.
Oh, I love it. I love that idea. We should do one about Daymok.
Hey, I'm game.
You can do it. Can't anybody make a Wikipedia page? We could just make one about Daymok without him knowing and just start just adding shit to it like tomorrow.
Yeah, and we gotta make up some really great shit. Like he's got a 14-inch cock, but it's only this like the diameter of a cigarette, something like that.
Well, he does have his .net page.
No, it got taken down. Oh, did he get the rights to it?
No, that Russian site.
No, that Russian site got taken down.
Oh, it did? Oh, okay.
It did. At least last time I looked, which was like 2 or 3 hours ago, because I mean that was my main page.
It was all that rubber banding.
It's all that rubber banding, yeah, dude. That rubber banding is specific, man. You know, you gotta get that rubber banding for all those. Jesus Christ. Oh man. Well, anyway, so Kid Icarus. Erin, you already said you didn't play it, but you took a whole bunch of notes. Zyber, I'm assuming you played it.
It's one of my favorite games.
Do you know what? Personally, it's one of my favorite NES games, like back in the day. Definitely one. I actually liked Kid Icarus more than I liked the original Metroid.
Fair enough, because I know your jam is Super Metroid.
Oh, hands down, by far, like my favorite game to date, and like out of all the games I've ever played, my favorite game to date is still Super Metroid. But I didn't. You know what I didn't realize until I actually was, of course, looking up some Kid Icarus stuff before the show. Which I probably would have been smarter for me to look it up when I was sober instead of drinking and looking it up, but that's besides the point. I didn't know that Kid Icarus spawned a sequel on Game Boy.
Yep, I have it.
Dude, what is it like? I've never played it.
It's a lot harder than the one on the NES, for sure. Yeah, it's wonky. That's the best way I could describe it. It's Kid Icarus, but it doesn't quite feel as much like Kid Icarus as the NES or the one that came out for Game Boy Advance.
Nice. I never played it.
There's 3 of them, isn't there? Or like that's
is
what?
There?
Yeah,
that's what Wikipedia says. It says there's like Kid Icarus, and then Kid Icarus. That you're talking about that came out in like
Dark
1990 or something. And then it says that there's one that came out in 2012.
Oh, for the Wii.
On something. Yeah, the one on the Wii. And then there was one that was supposed to come out recently, but it got nixed for I'm not sure what reason.
So Dark Alliance was for the Wii.
Yes.
So what was the one for Game Boy then?
I'm telling you, you got to edit this Wikipedia page because it's not saying the Dark Alliance one at all. It says it goes straight from Of Myths and Monsters, came out in like 1991, and then it goes straight to the one that came out, Uprising, in 2012. It skips the one that you guys are talking about completely.
Oh, I don't know about it, so I'm saying I don't know about Dark Rising. I'm just repeating it because he's saying Dark Rising.
I must be drunk or something because I forgot I packed all that stuff up.
Yeah, so Myths and Monsters is the Game Boy release, 1991.
Yes.
And then Uprising came out, it says for a new series entry for the Nintendo 3DS, was eventually revealed at E3 2010. Third-person shooter. So it was for the 3DS, it wasn't for the Wii. Did one come out for the I thought one came out for the Wii. Oh, no. He said he was asked about it for the Wii. but they made one for the 3DS. Jeez, I didn't know that. I knew it was in Super Smash Brothers. Let me read. I was going to say Brawl. No, Melee. Oh, no, hold on. He became a playable character in Super Smash Brothers Brawl. Fuck, I was right. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, so Pit for a lot of people goes way, way, way back. And definitely hits in the feels. So Kid Icarus itself was mainly a side scroller. You were Pit, who looked kind of, I don't know, he kind of looked like Cupid, to be perfectly honest. First time I played it, I thought I was playing somebody called Cupid. Then I found out his name was Pit, but that's besides the point. But it's a side scroller with a lot of platforming, and the first level, you're actually going. So in Super Mario Brothers, you went from left to right a majority of the time. I can't even think of one where you went right to left or up and down. But in Kid Icarus, they added in, like, the first level was that same. So, okay. On Super Mario Brothers, you had a thing where you would proceed through the level from left to right. As you proceeded through the level and the screen moved from left to right, you could not move the screen back left. So if you tried to go back to the left, you basically got stuck on an invisible wall and you couldn't move anywhere. Kid Icarus had that same mechanic. So when, like, the first level, you actually went, instead of going left to right, you went up and you continued to climb up. But Kid Icarus also had the left to right mechanics too, so the different levels were broken up that way. And now, whether it was the first game that did that up to down or down to up leveling thing there, so, like, as you would go up in a level, if the bottom, like, if you fell down, like, the whole thing wouldn't move down. You would just fall into a pit and die. So it's basically like the same pits in Mario if you went left to right, but instead they were up and down. I don't know if I'm making any sense through this drunken gibber.
No, it's fine. You're good. Okay. If you fall off platform and fall down when you're doing the upward scroll, you die. If you're in the side scroll and you fall, you die.
Yes. But I thought that was interesting that this was the first game that I could remember where it had that mechanic where you would scroll, where it was scrolling up instead of left and right. Like, there was a lot of them, like Adventure Island. There was Adventure Island. What was the other one? Bayou Billy, where you went from left to right and you just continued going. Like, once you got past that, you couldn't go back. You only could progress forward. But Pit was the first, or Kid Icarus was the first one I remember that you would go up and you had that same mechanic, but you couldn't drop down. So it made it interesting when you got to some of those levels, because you would start to go up and you had to be very, very careful about how you jumped, because you might try to avoid an enemy, but if you scrolled the bottom of the screen up too far, you would fall and just fall straight down into a pit, even though it literally was like on screen. It only moved about half an inch above wherever that platform was, but that platform's no longer there.
Yeah, and sometimes you were lucky enough to be able to get that there's no platform there anymore, but there is a platform there.
Yep. It didn't scroll down. It didn't scroll down far enough so you could still get to it.
It's like,
but it also
right
had that left to right
of the
mechanic.
Screen.
But it also had that left to right mechanic. And throughout it, you would shoot, you would shoot the different enemies and they would drop hearts that you would collect. And those hearts were a currency that you would use to buy power-ups. And the different power-ups were, there were a bunch of different things you could buy. You could buy extra health potions to get your health back up. You could buy hammers that allowed you. So there was actually a secondary portion of the game where it was almost like a top-down. Like, you were going through some castles, and there was a distinct map to it. So, like, you would get to a screen, maybe not a top-down, maybe that's the wrong way of describing it. But it was more like a Metroid exploration at that point in time. If that makes any sense.
It makes sense.
But instead of being... Yeah, go ahead.
It says that it's like abandons the last portion of the game abandons like the platforming style that it had before.
Yeah, it becomes a shmup.
It calls it a scrolling shooter, is I guess like the technical term for like what it does. Yeah.
Yeah. So like, okay, so throughout the game, the whole goal in the game, which we already kind of spoiled at the beginning, the whole goal of the game is that you're going through and you're finding the different castles and you're defeating these bosses to find the 3 great treasures. And those 3 great treasures are what you need to defeat Medusa. And the 3 great treasures we already talked about. But as you go through and you get those 3 great treasures, once you get all 3, you then don said treasures. And you're able, basically, it turns into like, an R-type or a Gradius where you're doing a side-scrolling and it's slowly progressing forward and you're shooting the enemies as they drop down. Now, I want to say in that last level, there was like a hidden place that you could stop and drop something off or like buy something still. There was the old, Jesus Christ, the really old rumor that you could trade in your wing boots and instead of flying, you would then run across the bottom of the screen. But that was like an old myth type, those myths that you get that just like never pan out. And then there are some that actually pan out like Mega Man X where you could get Ryu Sudoken. You remember that one?
I do not.
Oh, Christ. So and it turned out that it was actually real, which blew my mind. But it's real, but it's completely useless because by the time you can get it, you actually have to like beat the whole game. But there's a spot in Mega Man X that basically it's after you've killed all of the major bosses, like you've killed all the robots, you go back to the one, like it's the Molebot phase or level, and you ride the cart down these things, and as the cart launches through at the end and kind of like you're on the cart and it's supposed to launch you over to where you go in and fight the boss, but instead of doing that you jump on the wall and you side jump up the wall, and there's a capsule from Dr. Light there, and you have to do a whole bunch of other stupid shit. I forget what it is, but you get to that capsule and he says some weird shit and you get Ryu's Hadouken, like his supercharged bolt like Hadouken. You get the Hadouken. For the longest time, I thought that was bullshit because everybody who talked about it was like, yeah, you could totally get it. And I'm like, show me. And they're like, well, I can't do it though. And I'm like, yeah, then you're bullshitting me. You heard it from somebody, you heard it from somebody, you heard it from somebody. But then I looked it up and I think I found a YouTube video of actually somebody getting it. Now, whether that was a modded one and it was a fake, I don't know. But I saw it, so I'm putting stock into it.
Well, it does say that there's like different endings to it. There's like 5, but then the Japanese version, the best version, or like in the Japanese version of the game, the best ending that you can get in the like US release doesn't exist, and instead you get it like a different bad ending. So like there are different, you can do different weird shit, I guess. I'm not sure.
How do you get the different ending? Like there's different endings in Kid Icarus?
Well, that's what it says. It says like when you scroll down and go into the plot and it goes through like everything you have to do. And it says like depending on the way that you played, there's 5 different endings like that are completely 100% dependent on your performance during the whole rest of the game. And it says in the Japanese version, instead of getting like the best English version, if you did the exact same thing playing the Japanese version, you still got a bad ending. Like you get a different bad ending. So I don't know why it would like do you dirty like that, but I guess the Japanese version you get fucked. They don't care. I don't know.
I'm tracking now. So it's when it says performance, it means how fast you get through the game. It's the same thing with the old Metroid game, and actually Super Metroid as well. The quicker you got through the game, the better the reward you got.
Yeah, there's actually speedrun challenges for Kid Icarus.
So, like...
Yeah, so... Go ahead.
Okay, I have a question. I don't know how to... So, like, if you... Do you... Now, during the speedrunning, is that just, like, you kill all the enemies, you get all the, doodads and all the upgrades or whatever really fast? Or is it, like, you just blow through things without completing everything really fast to get the best ending?
A little of both.
Yeah, so in Kid Icarus, just like with Metroid or Super Metroid, whatever, you have to complete the game. So you, like in Kid Icarus, you can't just, I'm going to skip getting this treasure. You have to go through each of the castles and get every single treasure. But you don't have to go into every shop that you show up to. You don't have to go into every single room typically of a castle. So, I mean, you can speed run and you can shave a lot of time off of these old games.
Yeah, and if you're good at timing your occurrences with death, you can get away from death and you won't blow into a billion little deathlets that chase you all over the place.
Yeah, and you can use the different shops also to get away from death as well. That's a handy trick. But speedrunners, I don't think you do that trick. They just kind of like they do the stare tactic where you look at death and he stops moving at you.
Okay, death chases you in this game because once again, I literally read the whole plot, everything on the Wikipedia page, and it didn't say anything about death chasing or anything about you staring him down. Like nothing. Like what is that about? What is that about?
Death is one of the enemies in Kid Icarus.
Yeah, and you have these huge super mice things in one of the dungeons also. They're a pain in the ass.
Yeah, you guys really, I think the two of you should get together and you should completely edit the Wikipedia page because apparently it's leaving out like very large chunks of like vital information about like the plot of this game and how anything works. Like I thought I knew what was going to be happening when I showed up, but it's not. I did my homework this time, I swear, and I still don't know what's going on. I'm so bummed.
Well, I mean, there's only so much you can throw into a Wikipedia page before it turns into like just a rehash of the entire game. But yeah, there was a lot of different enemies. I mean, it took kind of. I mean, obviously it was based on some sort of like it was rooted. I'm not going to say based on. It was rooted in some sort of Greek mythology because it had Medusa, Icarus. I mean, it had, like there was like, even the design was very Greek-esque of what you were like. I mean, did you get a chance to like watch any YouTube videos or anything, or look at some of the art style of the actual game?
It had like pictures, but if you type in like Kid Icarus gameplay and then look through the images, it's got like still frames of like better graphics. I'm assuming they use for trailers because in the actual pictures of like gameplay from the original that I got, it looks closer to the graphics of like Frogger than anything I'm seeing on like the images page. It's like there's like a
and that's
disparity.
Actually fairly accurate. It was an old Nintendo game, so I mean it was 8-bit. There wasn't, you know, the old Nintendo didn't exactly have a lot of juice to it.
No, it wasn't like a Bash or whatever, because I had I don't even remember what it is, but it was a Game Boy something. It was like this tiny little square, like, flip one. It was basically like a Game Boy flip phone looking thing.
SP?
Yeah, SP, yeah. And so I had one of those, and so you could get old games on it. It's like, I'm no stranger to, like, the older graphics, but, like, when you look at the images for Kid Icarus, the images of supposed gameplay that come up look closer to, like, graphics from, like, games from the late 2000s rather than something that came out in the 80s. Like, I don't know why that's what they're choosing to use to represent the game, because it's none of it's from the game. Like, none of them are.
Oh, you know what? That is from the 3DS game. I just Googled it. Google Kid Icarus NES gameplay. Put NES in between there.
Yeah, this is what I'm talking about. Your black background and your like weird looking bricks and shit. Go. This is what I was like, none of these pictures have anything to do with what the fuck I was Googling. It doesn't look anything like the game. Yeah, I'm no stranger to this. This looks normal now. I feel like I'm back to the real world.
That's the old school NES. And actually, I'd say there's, you can see the one. Okay, so hold on. There's boggling my mind. Hold on. I gotta show you guys this. So here's an image of, I'm just going to post them in main chat because I'm lazy. So here's an image of pit fighting Medusa at the end. All right? And you see he's flying. Right? You guys see that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you. I got it.
Here's a picture of him fighting, but he's not.
Yeah, you can lose your armor.
How?
Get hit enough, you lose
No.
your armor.
You get hit enough, you die.
That too.
But you don't lose your armor if you get hit. You just die. That's where my brain is like, what?
I think it's... I remember... I haven't played it in years, but I remember playing it and getting hit and just not having my armor anymore.
I've got to find out, like, what that is. I've got to find that out. Like, I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm 100% not saying you're wrong. I don't remember it. So I've got to Google exactly how that works. Because my brain is saying that's not. But you know what? Maybe that goes along with the thing. Because remember I said that there was that myth that you could trade in your armor for something. Maybe that's true. Maybe it's not a myth. I don't know.
Maybe it's a bug.
My brain is saying something's amiss.
Now we have like a mystery to solve. And Google doesn't have any answers for me either. It's talking about like losing your progress and shit, and like people are talking about weird shit in Reddit, but none of it has anything to do with like whether or not you can lose or get rid of or trade in armor. Google doesn't even understand the question. I'm trying to ask it. I'm like, I don't know. I'm trying.
That's why you gotta ask Alexa.
From the AR stuff we did and everything, I don't have Alexa in my house because she's creepy and makes weird fucking noises. I don't like it.
Love it.
No.
I have Google. It talks to me. Freaks me out.
Does it talk to itself or start answering questions that you didn't ask all of a sudden? You're home alone? Because that's what Alexa did. It's
even better when like you're watching television and all of a sudden the television will say, okay, something. And it might, thankfully, it didn't do it, but it'll say okay.
Google does that to me all the time.
All of a sudden, Google will pick up and be like, what did you say? And you're like, I didn't what?
Yeah, we had one because my brother likes all that shit. He wants everything to be controlled from his phone. He'll ask his phone questions. He does like the text-to-speech and all this shit. So we had all these fucking, like the Alexa plug-in things in like every room in the house. And I unplugged them every time he left because they freaked me the fuck out. And like it started laughing one time. So then I Googled it and other people have the same problem. Alexa apparently can just start cackling for no reason. Like, no prompts, nothing. Nobody's talking to... Just start laughing. And I was like, yeah, that was it. That was it for me. I was like, I'm fucking done. I don't know. I was home alone and it was dark, and that freaked me the fuck out. Like, I can't be hearing people laughing in my house and I'm home alone. Like, I'm done.
Yeah, maybe those instances are, like, signs of paranormal activity.
I'm not...
Man, that'd be creepy.
I'm not
Creepy
down with that
fuck.
shit either. If I can't fight it or see it, like I'm out. I can't fight AI. I can't fight ghosts. Like I'm just gonna die. I'm not living in a world like that. I can't do it. I'm not built for it.
You think I'm gonna be that guy running around a mansion, get my ass chewed on by zombies? No. I'm gonna jump out this car, smoke a road sign, and that shit quick.
Right? Like you almost did with Bot that one night.
Oh, dude, I almost killed her. I literally almost crushed her skull. I'm dead like fucking 100% dead serious. If she did not snap out of it, I would have been sans one child and been in jail for fucking killing my own child. So, dude, seriously. All right, Erin, listen to this one. All right. I don't typically sleep all that much anyways, but I force myself to lay in bed. I've just like learned over the years that my body actually needs to rest no matter how much my brain doesn't. So I was sitting there, I'm laying in bed, and I was just kind of just staring at the ceiling, just doing my thing. And all of a sudden I hear, okay, we were living at my parents' house when we moved down here. So when we first moved down to Virginia, my parents let us shack up there. And where we were sleeping there was the guest room. And then if you walked out of the door of the guest room, immediately to your left, there was the office, which they were letting us use as Bot's room. So the door was right there. So the two doors were like cornered to each other. I'm sitting there and I'm laying on the side with the door, and I'm just kind of like just staring at the ceiling, and I hear the door open up to the office, aka Bot's room. And I kind of just like, turn over because I'm like, well, that's odd. Why is she getting out of bed? I'm like, oh, maybe she's got to go to the bathroom or something. So I turn over and I look, and I see this small form just shuffling, like not really walking, but kind of doing that, like, like when you're super tired and you're just doing that shuffle walk. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. You just like the really half asleep. You just dragging your legs, pretending you're not half dead walk.
Yeah, and your head's kind of cocked to the side. So she comes like shuffling in or shuffling out of the door. And I look over and I'm not like making any noise. I'm just kind of looking over, and she turns, but she does this turn. So like she shuffled out into the hallway, and then she just does like this 90-degree turn and this very slow turn to turn into the doorway. And then she takes a couple of steps. So she's literally standing in the doorway of the room. And we usually left the door open just in case, just so we could hear Bot and make sure that there's nothing wrong or anything like that. But we usually left the door open just for whatever. Well, I'm sitting there, like, I'm looking at her. She walks in, and, like, she takes a couple steps in. So I'm figuring, all right, well, there's something wrong. So I'm like, hey, honey, what's wrong? And she doesn't say a word. I said, honey, are you asleep? She doesn't say a word. I said, sweetie, are you okay? Well, by now, my wife has now woken up. She's like, what's wrong? And I'm like, I don't know. Bot's in the doorway, but she's not saying anything. So I kind of like do the lean up on one elbow type of thing. And I'm like, honey? And I'm kind of like leaning forward, ready to kind of like get up out of bed. And all of a sudden, like, she tips her head back and she starts to cackle. Now, a 4-year-old girl standing in her doorway cackling is a little bit disturbing at 2:00 in the morning. So now I've gone from I'm on my elbow to I literally am on the balls of my feet on the bed. Like I'm literally ready to jump out of a window or tackle the kid, one of the two. And like I'm sitting there and she's cackling and she's not stopping. Like she's just like really creepy cackling. And I'm like, kid, and I'm looking at my wife now, and my wife is visibly concerned. All right. So I'm already like, something's wrong here. My wife visibly concerned, my 4-year-old cackling, laughing. And I'm like, Bot, okay, snap out of it. Kid, I'm going to take you out. Kid, you better say something or I'm taking you out. I'm not questioning this. All of a sudden she stops cackling. And then she goes from like this shoulders slumped back, head back, to like her head comes forward, her shoulders come forward. She rubs her eye and she's, what's going on? And I'm like, kid, are you with me? She's like, what do you mean? I'm like, are you with me? Yes. Okay, good. Because if you weren't, we were going to be making a new one. Time to go to bed, dude. And I literally walk her back into bed. I put her down into bed. And I'm like, as I'm walking, I'm like, do you have to go to the bathroom? She's like, no. I'm like, okay, are you thirsty? No. Okay. Let's get back to bed then, okay? So I put her back in bed. And like of course, she immediately picks up her water bottle that she has and takes a sip from it. And I'm thinking, yeah, you weren't thirsty at all. So then, like, I walk back to the bedroom and I lay back down in bed. And there's my wife still with this look of 100% concern on her face. And I just look over, I'm like, yeah, she's good. I mean, if she's possessed, we're all dead. But, she'll kill us in her sleep, so we'll be fine. And then
this is why 8mm film bothers them so much.
Dude, that fucking movie Sinister came out, and that damaged my fucking calm. Like, seriously damaged my calm.
We know why you don't fucking sleep. I wouldn't sleep either. That I don't know how you didn't throw something, like even just like a pillow and not like a lob. Like you should have grabbed it by the corner and whipped it at her like your life depended on it and flung that little girl into the wall. That shit, no. Hell no.
I swear to you, I was about a hair's breadth away from fucking cold clocking my own kid. I mean, full on closed fist, beating her down until she stopped moving. I was terrified. Absolutely terrified. I mean, I didn't, and I'm glad I didn't, because I think she was just sleepwalking. But at that split second, holy shit. I'm like, my kid's possessed. She's got a knife. She's gonna kill me. I'm panicking.
Dude, do we have time for me to tell a quick story? Or are we too off topic? Or like,
hit it. What do you got? No, that's what this whole show's about.
So both my siblings would do, like, when we were kids, like, they would do creepy shit in their sleep, but the worst one ever was I have two younger sisters, but the youngest one, she did that phase where, like, she was scared of shit all the time at night, so she just stopped sleeping in her room, and she wanted to sleep in my room, like, in my bed. And I was like, okay, but you sleep on, like, the other side. It was like a futon one, so it was pretty big. So we're sleeping on opposite ends of the bed, like heads are on opposite sides, and like our feet aren't touching because we're both on like we're pretty separated. And I woke up in the middle of the night because she kept like, she would roll and stuff in her sleep, and she kept like kicking me and shit. And she woke me up kicking me. Well, I opened my eyes and she's sitting bolt upright in bed staring at me and not blinking. And I was like, you know, because I'm like half asleep. I was like, are you all right? Like, I thought maybe she woke me up on purpose because she'd done that before, like getting scared of like noises or whatever in the dark. And she'd always wake me up. Like, I don't know what the fuck I'm going to do, but all right. But she didn't say anything, and she's not moving at all. I can't see if she's like breathing, but she's just staring at me, unblinking, like a dead look on her face, like a horror movie. And I was like, yo, Odd, you good? Nothing. I was like, Odd, you're freaking me out. Nothing. I was like, say something, I'm gonna fucking hit you. And she didn't say anything, so I grabbed my pillow, like, by the corner, and I whipped it really hard, like, at her, because I thought, like, you know, if she attacks me, you know, I know that she's, like, possessed or whatever, she's not my sister anymore. But if it's really her and she's fine, this isn't gonna, like, damage her permanently. So I whipped the pillow at her, and her head hit the wall. Like, I hit her so hard with the pillow, her head hit the wall. And then she, like, blinked a couple times, and then she was pissed. And I was like, don't ever do that again. You scared the shit out of me. Like, now I'm not going to be able to sleep either. Whose bed am I going to sleep in? I'm the oldest sibling. Like, nobody's going to comfort my ass. It freaked me out, dude. It was like, I can't handle people who sleepwalk and shit. Like, that's a deal breaker for me. Like, I'll live alone. I'm not dealing with that. It's terrifying.
The only time I can say I was ever truly terrified was a night that I stayed over at Cecil's when we were in just before high school. Or was it high school? You just got the entire upstairs. Your brother just moved downstairs.
Oh, God. Oh, so that was after Joe left then.
Yeah. And
was it before? Hold on. Was it before or after I cleaned the back room out?
I think it was before you cleaned that back room out.
So that would be right after Joe left. That was. Hold on. 12. I was 12.
It was before you moved into that room.
Yeah, I was 12 because Joe moved out, and then I didn't move into that back room. But I was dating Ruby at 13, and when I was 13, that room, I wasn't in that room yet, but there were still beds in that room that when we came back from like camping and stuff, people would crash in.
I remember the first time and the last time that I stayed in that room until you moved into that room, and it sounded like someone was running back and forth in the room. There was no one in the room. That was like the only time I was ever truly terrified of anything. And we started to sleep, foot to head kind of thing.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, that dude, that fucking old house in Salem was so like, There was plenty of stuff that you were like, okay, I can attribute that to creaking, or I can attribute that to rhythmic wind sounds. But there were some fucked up things that happened in there. And I always attribute to that fucking revolutionary cemetery being a goddamn stone's throw from my goddamn bedroom window.
Oh, definitely. Absolutely. I could only imagine the kind of shit that Bane would have to go through.
Oh yeah. They fixed up that cemetery really nice though. They like that whole front corner that was a swamp. They cleaned that all out. They made that look real good. They fixed all the walls. Like that place looks really good. I gotta say, the town actually I was impressed that the town would put money into fixing that place. But they did, and it looks good.
No, it looked really nice. I was surprised that they put money into it too, but I think that eventually they'd have to stop touting Salem as like the historic Salem if they let all the historic shit go to, crumble. So they fixed it. It looks good, but that place looks creepy at night too. Like I don't fucking, like I'm not gonna go anywhere near that shit at night. It's creepy.
Oh man,
dude. As a kid, we used to hang out at night at the Evergreen Cemetery.
Oh, no, Evergreen Cemetery, because Pigeon was always there. But no, I was talking about the Revolutionary Cemetery, the one that was right across the street.
Oh, yeah, right. We used to go there, too, at night. We'd sneak out of Cecil's house, go over to the cemetery, hang out.
You fucking watch the stars from those damn burial mounds.
You could watch the stars from anywhere else, and it wouldn't be creepy. Like, why?
But the thing is, in the back part of the cemetery, because you had the cornfield right behind it, which, look, first... Like, I want to point this out. If you want creepy, be there at like just before they cut everything down in those cornfields, and there's just rows of this like dying corn, and then you're laying on a burial mound in a cemetery, and you just got this dying corn, and you just watch Children of the Corn. Like that fucks up your psyche. Like that'll mess you up.
See, Children of the Corn never creeped me out. That was like the one thing that bothered all my friends. And I was like, I don't know why it didn't bother me. I was like, well, I'm one of the kids. I'll live. You know what I mean? Like, I was like, they're only killing the adults. I'm good.
Oh, no.
For at least another 6 years.
That movie messed me up. But basically, because I lived like, I could get out and I could sprint and be at a cornfield in 30 seconds. Like, so that always messed me up.
True story.
Oh, well, yeah, well...
We would go back there because, like, there was the field in the back, like, way behind my house. But that guy was such a fucking dick. And if he ever caught you back there doing anything, like, you just, like, I want to throw the football around. If he actually caught you, he would fucking come out and actually scream at you and be like, what the fuck you doing? Get off my property. Like, dude, it's a fucking field.
Or shoot rocks all at you.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's if you got near the fucking... What the hell's that thing? The garage thing that he had up there on 22 that was right at the edge of the field.
Yeah.
Like if you got anywhere near that building, you guarantee you're getting shot with rock salt. Yeah, that dude was just a fucking, like he was a cunt to the next degree. Like I hated that guy. And the one day he showed up because fucking, a friend of mine, I won't name him, but a friend of mine popped a golf ball through the window of his place. He shows up at my place. He's like, yeah, you vandalized my property. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, I saw you. You're always in the back there. You vandalized my property. I'm like, first off, fucker, I haven't been back there like in a week. I've been playing this new game called The Seventh Guest that I've got. So you can go right fuck yourself. He got so pissed when I told him that at my door. Got the cops there and everything. And it like finally... He's like, I got cameras. I can show it was you. I'm like, all right, fucking show it. Bring it, boss. And he's like telling the cops, I've got cameras. I can show you it was him. And even the cops are like, well, if you've got cameras, we'd like to see the footage. I'll go get it, but you got to do something about this. And they literally like, we'll do something about it when you provide us evidence. Otherwise, have a great day. I was just like, you fucker. I hated that guy. But that's why we went over to the cemetery, because like, it was just an open place where you could just like chill out and nobody would fucking bother you. Like 0 people would bother you.
I got screamed at one time when I was like 12. I went to my friend's house and she lived like next to the post office. So, like, behind her house was actually where the the town gazebo was.
Yeah.
Well, we were playing Manhunt, so we're playing in that little park, and, you know, like, we're hiding out near the gazebo and stuff. We're not doing anything wrong. We're not, like, destroying the flowers or ripping up anything. Well, somebody came out of that apartment building, and it's, like, 1 a.m, and we were being quiet. We're playing Manhunt, so, like, the whole thing is, like, you're quiet, because you don't want people to find you. Well, I guess she was awake at 1 a.m. for no reason and started screaming and throwing shit from her balcony, like, at us. So we all, like, flipped out and ran back and, like, told my friend's mom that, like, some crazy lady was, like, throwing... I don't even know what she was throwing. I think some of it was breakable. Like, I think she threw, like, a vase or something. So then she went out and then she started screaming at that lady. And I was like, we're playing in a public park. Like, why are you... Just go back to bed. Like, we're not vandalizing. We're like 12-year-old girls. Like, what do you think we're doing out here? Like, we're not a threat. We're not scary. We're not near your house. We're not stealing things. Like, relax. Like, it's good.
What town?
Salem. It was in Salem.
There's a gazebo behind the post office?
Yeah.
I know there's a gazebo. Oh, I know what you're talking about. Okay, no.
Like,
I know what you're talking about.
Gazebo.
Yeah, right by Lundgren's.
No, I know. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. I'm thinking of the gazebo over on over by where Napa used to be, right behind there, where they put that gazebo there. I completely forgot about that one fucking behind there.
It's the one where they have, like, the farmer's market or whatever. Like, they would have the farmer's market there.
I'm tracking.
So, like, if you're on the side street where the post office is, the gazebo's technically, like, behind those buildings, even though it's on the main street.
I'm tracking.
Yeah. So this lady in the apartment, like, flipped out throwing shit. And, like, the next day we went out and, like, because my friend's mom was like, well, you shouldn't have been out there, blah, blah, blah. So we ended up cleaning up this stuff that this lady threw off of her own balcony. Like, the next day. Like, we cleaned all of that up. Because she was like, well, what if she calls the cops? And I was like, we didn't do anything! Like, we played Manhunt. We didn't even trample any flowers or... Like, what is she gonna do? I don't know. But, yeah, Salem people were crazy. I don't know. There's something about, like, really tiny towns. People are nuts.
Well, so,
that's different than, like, us. Like... We'd run around Salem at all hours of the night, and, you know, our friend would break their ankle, and we'd tell him it's okay. Then he joins the military, and they're like, oh, hey, you broke your ankle.
Yeah, like, we were, but, you know, fuck. It was late 80s, early 90s. We did some fucked up stuff.
Yeah, we did.
Like, the one time when we had to fucking, okay. So... we decided in our infinite wisdom that we were going to camp behind the twins' house. Because, you know, Putz had a crush on one of the twins. That's a whole nother story. That's funny as hell. But he had a crush on one of the twins. So we decided we were going to camp out behind there. So we were trying to look for a place to camp. And we didn't want to camp on Carrie's property. Because we camped out on Carrie's property and they got all pissy. They'd fucking come and they'd kick us right off. But we camped on Pigeon's property because I knew him and he was cool. He'd let us put a fire out and back and he was whatever. But the one night we were like, oh shit, okay, so we need to get firewood and we need to find something to light this. So Putz goes off and he starts finding firewood and like he's fucking cutting down a tree. He's got a hatchet. He's fucking chopping shit up. So you remember Bates?
Yeah.
So he and I were like, all right, we got to go find some accelerant. So we went down to friggin' Extra Wide and we started draining what was left inside of the fucking pump of gasoline. We probably got like a half a cup of gasoline total and to try and drain all the pump. And I have no clue why we thought this was a wise idea, but we wrapped our fucking faces in a t-shirt so that nobody could see it was us. It's not like we're actually going and stealing anything. We're literally just lifting the pump up and draining out whatever was left in the tube. Like just the couple drops that were left in there. We get back, and we were gone for a fucking while, too. So we get back, and we're thinking, because we said, hey, Putz, just keep getting firewood until we get back. We dead sprinted. You know, we went down by, God, what the fuck's his name? Matt something. Remember there on the side road? We used to play Manhunt at his house, right by the woodmill. Right between Carrie and the woodmill.
Sullivan?
Was it Sullivan? Was that his name?
Sargent? Matt Sargent?
No, Matt Sargent was the one who went to class with us. He was, hold want to say like savage, but that's not it. He was, he wore glasses, scrawny. Oh, fuck. He was right there. So like, if you were at the post office and you shot back towards the wood mill, he was on that little back road there.
Okay. And I can't remember.
You know what I'm talking about,
though,
though, right?
Yeah.
You know where I'm talking.
Yep.
Okay. So like, we dead sprinted down that road over to Extra Wide, got the gas, and we took, as I said, we took a while and we sprinted back. By the time we got back, Putz had a fucking pile of firewood that was taller than me. And it was like probably 4 or 5 foot wide. We get back, and the first thing I go to say is, what the fuck? Before I can even get it out, Bates is like, what, are we fucking burning down a house? Because he had so much fucking firewood. Like literally all night long, we had so much fucking firewood. And of course, we camped back there, and the twins snuck out, and, all that fun stuff. And then, oh, fuck. Poor Candace. Like, she got so drunk. And there was that the 4th of July parade the next day. She got so sick off the side of a fucking float. Oh, God, it was so bad. But yeah, that's fucking small towns for you.
Dude, I feel like every small town story eventually has somebody lighting a fire. Like, I've explained it to people, like, when I went to college, and I explained it to people, like, growing up in a really small town, they're like, what do you do for fun? I was like, well, you drive around the town that you live in, or eventually you end up at somebody's house, which is usually my parents' house, because we were in the middle of nowhere, and had, like, a decent amount of land, and you end up lighting a fire, and you sit around, and you stare at it, and you talk. And at some point, either an explosion happens, or you end up with a really, really big fire, and you got to tell somebody's parents, or you just stay out there all night until the morning to make sure the really, really big fire never gets out of control, and you never tell anybody how big it got. And that's literally all you did. That's what we did. And you played manhunt in the woods.
Yep.
Wow, it's different for us. Like, we'd have really big fires, and we'd tell people about it, and it was perfectly fine.
Yep. People would show up with kegs.
Yep, absolutely. Until the sheriffs show up and everybody bolts on their quads, and next thing you know, you have Sheldon calling in because a group of people just cut through their potato field on a bunch of quads.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I definitely liked growing up in a small town, but I really valued my time when we would go down to the city for the summer. Like, in a small
when you go
town,
down to Yonkers?
Yeah, and then I'd like just hop the metro and then be down in Manhattan and just roam around Manhattan. Just so much fun. It's a different world, and it was so much fun to go see. And to be perfectly honest, like, if I didn't have that experience, I probably would still be living in Salem now. Like, I probably would have never left. Not that there's anything wrong with living in Salem. Don't get me wrong. I still love that town. I just, like, there was no place for me to go. I'm a computer guy. Like, I literally live and work on computers. There's nothing in that town that was really going to, like, there was no place I was going to go work.
Yeah. Well, I think that, like, it was like, now it's starting to grow, I guess. But for a while, a lot of the people in positions of power in town would fight, like, in the town of Salem, would, like, fight progress. Oh, yeah. Like, they didn't want any new stores, no businesses, like, abandoned buildings. They were like, yeah, leave it. We'll vote against it. And, like, I get that they wanted to say a small town, but there's a difference between, like, small town and, like, dying town. And I think eventually it came to, like, a head there where they had to do something.
Oh, yeah, that was one of the huge issues that I had, growing up there, is that everything that they tried, everything that tried to enter that town, there was a subway that tried to enter there. They were like, no. That subway ended up, I think, in Greenwich. I think even at one point in time, a Walmart was talking about showing up in that town. They were like, no. And they just kept shutting everything down, and it stifled any growth that town could have had. I'm actually super excited that they're doing something with the old CB Sports building. Did you guys see that?
Yeah, this old sewing plant. Yep.
I am super fucking stoked that they're doing something with that building, because that building...
Yeah, same here.
Dude.
I'm actually surprised that they allowed a Dollar General in the vicinity of the town.
Right?
But that was a fight.
Surprised me.
That was a fight. That was like a big thing. People were going around town with like flyers and shit to like advocate for letting Dollar General come to town. And it was all the old people who would benefit the most from being able to walk to a store that had the biggest problem with it. Like, it made no sense to me.
Yeah.
I was like, we don't have anything. Like, there was nothing there.
Yeah, like there was a Grand Union there for a while until it closed down when I was a kid. But there was a Grand Union there, and it was like, oh, hey, there's a grocery store. And, I mean, I can remember as a kid, we would go down to that grocery store, but we'd only go down there only so much because the prices were just outrageously high. And it was like, yeah, I get it that you're the only store for 20 minutes, but, like, you don't have to gouge everybody like you're the only store for 20 minutes. Like, I'm pretty sure...
Well, there's
right.
There's a new restaurant or whatever that opened up there. And so, like, I was looking, because, like, I like to see what goes on there, you know what I mean? Like, I like to see, I want to see the town flourish and shit. But, like, the people that opened it, it's, like, a place that would do well in, like, a city, like, a metropolitan area. And they don't actually have dinners. They have, like, fancy hors d'oeuvres and shit, like, things that I can't pronounce that nobody that lives there will know what it is.
Yeah, small plates.
Yeah, and they're charging, like, $15 or $16. And I'm like, it's not a bad idea, but like, I don't think they realize like where they are.
Yeah, they're trying to go yuppie. They're really trying to go like get that small town, like almost like the Manchester or Dorset feel.
I was gonna say Dorset. Definitely sounds like a Dorset thing.
Yeah, yeah.
For the people like not from that area, all I can think of is like, if you guys have seen like South Park, how they wanted to like make the town better, and they were like, let's get Soda
Yes.
or like Shatipa town, and like that's what I feel like it is. Like they just brought this like super expensive, like rich person would do better in like a metropolitan area thing, and they dropped it right in the middle of this small town with more cows than people. And like, I just don't think there's going to be a clientele for it. Like, I want them to succeed, I really do, and it sounds cool. But I just don't think they realize, like, where they decided to, like, place this. It just seems very weird to me.
Yeah, it's kind of wild. Is that the Jackos Corner that you're talking about?
Yeah, so it's Jackos Corner. So they opened it a couple years ago as, like, an ice cream place. Oops, sorry, my dog is flipping out. Like, it was originally. But they charged stupid high prices, so it closed. And now they made it this, like, little restaurant with, like, $16 fish on crackers or whatever it is. It's like insane.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind it so much. Whatever happened to there's the Salem Taverns there, and that was always that was called someplace else a long time ago. But I'm glad to see that that's still open. But what about it was called the Central House. It was right down there. I mean, it's Stewart's now, but it was before the building's before Stewart's. Do you remember what I'm talking about? The Central House?
Well, before that building was Stewart's, it was Bonfair
and then Extra Mart.
Extra Mart.
Yeah. So, but it's I'm just for current sake, there were Stewart's there, but then there was the Central House that was right across from the Salem Tavern. Whatever happened? Like, what's that now?
It was somebody tried to open like a breakfasty type of thing there, and it didn't really take off, and I think those people still own it. But now there's like a hair place, like there's like a hairstylist down there, and I think above it is apartments. But it's weird. Still called the Central House.
It's
but
still called the Central House?
Yeah, but there's only like the hair, like you get your hair done downstairs, and then I think the upstairs is apartments. But they were trying to open like a breakfast brunch type of place there for a little bit, and that didn't last very long because once again, it was like that price gouge thing where they tried to charge too much. And I'm like, these are people who like primary source of income is like farming here. Like nobody has a lot of money to throw for this. Like you just need regular food and shit and you'll do fine. But nobody wants to do that. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Only the tavern. Tavern's fucking thriving, dude. It's like the only thing alive in town.
Well, I mean, Yeah, I mean, for the longest, well, the Central House was always like a nice restaurant to go sit down and eat. But I mean, it was like a place you went like once every now and then. That's one of the biggest reasons why I wanted to get out of that town, because like just exactly what you said, there wasn't a lot of money. So like, anytime you went out, it was like, all right, well, I guess this is my once a month going out type of thing. Granted, with COVID now, you don't get to go out anyways.
There was a really cool. They opened. There was a place called Brooklyn Marie's there, but COVID killed it. Like they just couldn't survive COVID, and it sucked because they were pretty good and they delivered. So it was like, besides the little pizza place and the tavern, it was the only other place you could get food, and it was doing super well, and it had like a completely different atmosphere. So like it wasn't direct competition necessarily. But then COVID hit and it just couldn't survive, and it sucked because they had bomb-ass desserts.
Oh,
like,
man.
I could go there more than once a month. You could afford to go more than once a month. Like, it was dope. And they're gone now, and it makes me sad because nothing's moved into the space.
I will say I miss from Salem is when Cecil would have a party and we'd have a huge bender, then go down to the diner that was next to Neil's News.
Yes.
And fucking home fries and
they were like they were like literally they just took potatoes and they sliced coins out of them and they fried them with like these onions and this grease that was probably been there since the 1800s, but it fucking tasted so great. Oh yeah, man. Oh, I miss that. Is that place still open? Because that moved onto the corner there in on Broadway and Main, across from the library.
Yeah, the old service station.
Yeah, is that place still there?
No. Right now, I think the only thing like close to that corner that's open is there's like a chocolate store. I don't know what the fuck they have. Steininger's.
Yeah,
but
it's
I
a
don't
little
even.
cafe.
I've never been there. Never been there. I thought the only thing that they had was chocolate. Like I pictured like the Lindor truffle people inside. I don't know. I don't know what's there. I've never been inside.
They actually serve food there. I've been there and I've eaten a couple of times. It's okay. They're trying. They were trying desperately to be something that they were not. Kind of like that Jackos place. They were really trying, but I don't know. Salem is a quaint little town that is really, really. There's a lot of great little things about it, but man, the people who were in power there, just they were terrified of losing power. Like they were so terrified that somebody was going to come into their little corner, their little pixel of the world, and take their power away. And it was so funny.
So like I don't stay super up on things just because it's just like silly little town nonsense type of shit, but like I feel like it's like the big fish in a little pond type of thing. Like they're afraid of any bigger fish coming in, but like to the point where they're willing to let the whole pond dry up rather than like anything. Yep. Like you could throw them a life preserver and they'd be like, get that shit out of here. Like I'm going to die on top. And I'm like, why? Like none of this is important. Like just let the town thrive, man. Well, just get a grocery store.
You got to also take into consideration after the burning of Kingston and they were looking for a new capital in New York State, it came down to a vote between Albany and Salem.
Mm-hmm.
Salem almost became the capital of New York State.
Mm-hmm.
But because of its position on the Hudson River, it didn't. It lost by like a minuscule amount of votes. It was lower than 5 votes that it lost.
But people are still living in that time. Like they still haven't figured out that they need to advance. And that's whoever decided to not make Salem the capital probably saw that.
I don't know. It's a cute place. Like, I don't want to talk shit about it or whatever. And like, I don't know, who exactly is in charge of what now anyway. But like, it has like a couple things going for it. Like the theater and stuff like that was cool. That attracted a lot of like hoity-toity people and stuff. and like
Salem
could bring
Artworks.
money to the town, but they don't. Salem Artworks is like the best part of the town. If any of you Google, anybody listening, Google Salem, New York, the best place to go in all of Salem is to go to Salem Artworks and learn some glass blowing or like metalworking. Like that's the best part of the whole town, and I feel like it's kind of a little bit underutilized.
Oh, Salem Artworks, like when they moved in, when they bought the old Cary farm and they moved in, it was like, at first I was super skeptical because I was like, what the fuck are they doing? Then like after a couple of months, I was like, oh, these guys are actually bringing enrichment to Salem. Like the Salem Fort Theater, or the Fort Salem Theater, sorry, same thing. Like they were one of the only things that really brought culture to the fucking area. And it just drove me nuts because, like, okay, how many churches are in Salem?
Like a billion. There's more churches than people, I think. There's more cows and more churches in Salem than people. Yeah. I think that's what the way it is.
When I left, there were 4 churches in Salem. 4 churches. There's only like 9,000 people, and there's 4 churches.
There's not 9,000 people anymore. I think it's like less than that.
Oh, is it?
I don't know.
I gotta Google it. Hold on.
I don't know. I don't stay like on top of it or whatever, but like I think the last estimate was like there was like 5,000 cows, and then there was literally like less people than that. It's tiny now. There's like 900 people in town or something stupid. Like it's crazy small.
Hold on. This is saying North Salem. Let me find
2,715 since 2010.
Wow, dude, there used to be 9,000 people in fucking Salem. That's wild.
Well, there's
Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe
there's
there wasn't.
bigger towns around, though. Like, there's nothing there. Like, anybody with any amount of influence tries to suffocate anything that tries to move into town. Like, into that town. So there's, like, no way. There's no way. Like, it's just not happening.
Hold on, I'm trying to find what the census was. Maybe I'm messing up. Maybe it was like 900 people in this village of Salem. Maybe that was where my brain was.
Well, I think I think that's right. I think there's like I don't know, but like 900-ish people.
No, so in 1990 it was 2,608 is the census. So yeah, I don't know where the fuck I was getting 9,000 from. I was so wrong. But maybe I was thinking the village of Salem and being 900 or something in there. Maybe that's where I was getting. I don't know.
You counted the cows. You added them into like the tally.
You know, I did. I counted the cows. I did. I counted the cows in the tally. That's where I got 9,000. You're right.
It's not even a joke. I tell people, like, yeah, the town I grew up had more cows than people. And they're like, haha, yeah, that's funny. I was like, no, there's literally more than double the amount of cows there than there are people. Like, this is not a joke. Like, they'll kill us all.
Yeah, if the cows ever revolted, they would. They'd fuck us up. Dude, the median income for a household...
Yeah, and you can thank Sheldon's Farm for that.
Oh, yeah. Oh, fucking 100%, yeah.
Do what? I missed it. What?
Yeah, he said you can thank Sheldon's Farm for that and the number of cows.
Oh, well, now the big one is what is it, Woody Hill or whatever? That place expanded. Yeah. They doubled the amount that they had. Like, I think that's I'm not certain or anything, I don't know, but like I think that's the biggest farm. Like by far. So
here's some stats for you. All right. Now this is depressing. And this is, again, prime reason why I moved out, because there was no place for me to go. The median income for a household in the town is $40,000. The median income for a family for a family was $45,600. Males had a median income of $32,821.
That's kind of surprises me, honestly. I thought it'd be a little higher, like in the village, because most of the people I know in the village are like the wealthier residents in town. Like I would have thought it would have been closer to 60. I don't know if that's like out of touch, but like most of the people I knew there, like they're like your lawyers and the teachers that have been tenured and shit, like they all live right in the village. So like that seems crazy to me that it's that low.
In comparison, for the household median income. Yeah, let's just say that I make a lot more than that. If I lived in Salem still, yeah.
That's crazy. Because all the literally all the rich people, they all live right in the village. So, like, I would think that they would, like, that number would be higher. That's nuts that it's that low with all the rich people literally right there. That's crazy.
Well, keep in mind, that's the median. So that means that's the average of what people make. So there's people that make a lot less than that. Because if there's people that make a lot more than that, it means that there's people that make a lot less than that.
Oh, yeah. Well, I know that. I think probably, like, most of the regular people are, like, the 20-something to, like, 30 range. But it just surprises me because everybody with money lives right there in the town. Like, I mean, within, like, rock-throwing distance of, like, the red light. You know what I mean? Like, that's where all of the wealthy people are. And they make way more than the $40K. So that's kind of surprising to me.
Right. But
insane.
the thing is, they're basing the median off of an average.
Yeah. So, like, I lived over there on Park Place. I lived in town on Park Place, and I could tell you that we did not make, like, my parents did not make that much.
Yeah, the same thing with my mom's parents. They lived right across from where the now Stewart's used to be Bonfair Extra Mart. They lived basically right across the road from that, and they didn't make anywhere near that.
Yeah, it's wild.
That's just crazy to me. That's just crazy. Yeah, no, they don't. There's not a lot of prospects there. It's kind of, that part's kind of shitty. I wish, like, something huge would come in and, like, revitalize the town. Like, I don't want to see it die. It's really sad, man.
Dude, like, okay. It may have sounded like I was talking shit about it. And, like, in a little bit I was, because I grew up there and I just knew that I was not going to advance in Salem. Like, I knew that I wasn't going to be happy living in Salem. So for me, it was good to get out. But Salem is like, it's one of those quaint small towns that if you can fit in, like, if you can just, like, chill out and fit in, it's like the best place in the fucking world. Like, there's just, like, it would be a great place to retire at 55.
Yeah, I mean, I look at Salem as, if you don't make any moves, it'll be a trap town.
Yeah. Yeah, it could be. I could see that. It could be like, you could get, like, trapped in a cycle there type of thing where you just goes round and round, and that's just where you get stuck. But I mean, like, on the flip side, though, if you're happy, like, if you, like me, I want to go to, and I want to travel to Europe. I want to go put my hand on Stonehenge. You know, I want to scuba dive in the Bahamas. Like, I want to do shit. I want to do all this shit. And I'm like, I'm going to fucking go do it. I want to make it happen. Like, one way or another, I'm going to make it happen. Granted, I have fucked this body way the hell up. So, like, those ending years are really going to suck for me, but I had fun now. So that's the important part is. I knew living in Salem was not going to be, like, I wasn't going to be able to go do that shit. I wasn't going to be able to go to England. I wasn't going to be able to, you know, I wasn't going to be able to told to fuck off in France. I wasn't, I wasn't going to be able to do a lot of things I wanted to do. So that's me though.
I think, if, it does have a lot of charm, and it's really pretty. But I think, like, the difference is, like, if you had a job at, like, the school there, or, like, if you were, like, a lawyer or something and you retired, like, it's perfect. Because it's really, you can walk around town, you can look at all the pretty stuff, you can go to, like, the Salem Artworks and shit. But, like, if you're, like, a regular person on, like, a 9-to-5 grind, it's so far for people to travel to do anything. Like, I don't think people realize, like, how difficult it is and how much time and money you spend just trying to just literally survive, because you have to travel for everything. Like, it's 45 minutes to anywhere. Exactly. It's crazy.
That's what I always thought with Cecil's parents driving to Albany every day. Oh my God.
Yeah, they left at, they would leave at 5 o'clock in the morning, and they typically wouldn't come back till 6, 7-ish at night, cook dinner, and then, go to bed. Like, that was it. And then weekends would be laundry and clean up and all that shit. So, I mean, yeah, it sucked. It definitely, like, as a kid growing up there with, like, my parents trying to work and actually make money, it sucked. I mean, going down to the city, it was a great experience for me, but the only reason I went down to the city was because my parents didn't want to have to worry about, they wanted to de-stress for those few months or those couple months in the summer. They would send us down to my grandparents' house so that, I mean, I get why they were doing it. It still sucks, but they just wanted to get rid of us so that, they didn't have to deal with us for 2 months. So, it's just, I understand why they did it. It is what it is, but it's still one of those, like, yeah, it for being a 9-to-5 grind, it's pretty painful. But on the flip side, you are so close to mountains to go hiking. You are so close to places you can go snowboarding. If you happen to like bonfires and drinking beer, you are in the right fucking location. Like, there are so many perks, but they're small town perks. And those small town perks are sometimes the best fucking perks.
I think, like, seeing the wildlife stuff, like, I've talked to, like, friends even that were, like, 45 minutes away in, like, Saratoga when I was a kid, and I would talk about, like, all the wildlife. Like, oh, a bear tipped over my neighbor's trash can, or, like, oh, I see, X amount of deer on the way to wherever. And they'd be like, oh, do you? And I was like, yeah, like, I can literally sit in my backyard and I will see deer. I will see, the raccoons and, like, all this stuff. Or, like, I could hear the crickets and, like, if I had my window open in the summer and stuff like that. And I think that, like, if you're not from someplace like that, like, I don't know. Maybe it's not a perk, but to me, like, it's just, like, just being able to, like, see nature and, like, hear some of those sounds. It's, like, one of those beautiful, like, tranquil experiences ever. And, like, I feel like a lot of people don't get to experience that unless you're someplace really tiny and, like, quiet and secluded.
Yeah, when my now wife and I first started living together, we moved into this place in Troy. And I primarily got used to the sound of, like, the peep frogs, the crickets, and no sirens or anything like that going on in the middle of the night. It took a long time to get used to the more cittier sounds than...
Oh, yeah. Especially Troy.
Yeah,
especially the Troylet.
Yep. Especially when you live on 8th Street, right near the police station, firehouse, and EMS and all that.
Oh, that's rough. Yeah, going from out, living in the middle of nowhere to that. Yeah. Oh, that's painful. Well, on that note, we could sit here and reminisce, and maybe we just make a whole reminiscing episode. But we actually have another episode that we're going to go invade. Thoughts and Shots. They were silly enough to say, "Hey, you guys want to join in tonight? We're going to be watching a movie." And I'm like, "Oh yeah, I've been drinking again." So let's wrap this shit up. Zyber, where can people find you at, man?
You can find me on the G.N.A podcast. Just say @Zyber.
Nice. What about you, Erin the Destroyer? Where can people find you at?
They can find me at the G.N.A podcast. They can find me on Twitch, and I'm going to be on YouTube really soon because I'm figuring out how to edit shit. So those are the 3 places you can find me, as well as I have like a Facebook page, Twitter, and an Instagram, all with the Erin the Destroyer as the handle. So you can find me all those places.
Bitchin'. And I'm Cecil Xavier, your host. You can find me on Cecil vs. Games on Twitter, Cecil Xavier everywhere else. Ustream, Twitch, YouTube. I'm also I got the G.N.A up there, so I'd probably find me on the G.N.A there. Look, I'm on Discord. It's everywhere. Just look for me. If I'm not there, let me know. I'll go there as well. I actually So I actually created a Pornhub account simply to comment on a video because it fucked my world up. It was like, I had to ask how the hell somebody could fit that many golf balls in an anus. Like, it doesn't fathom in my brain. So I even have a Pornhub account too. So we hope you enjoyed the show. Don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe on your favorite podcast app. Reviews help people find the show. So if you enjoy listening, have other people let other people know. You can find us on Podcast Addict, Player FM, Spreaker, MyTuner, Your Listen, iTunes, Google Play Music, Spotify, iHeartRadio, everywhere else that you can possibly think of. If we're not there, we'll upload there as well. We are partnered with Humble Bundle. Humble Bundle is a game purchasing service with a little bit of a twist. You get to donate to charity while you do it. So go check out Humble Bundle and put !partner equals G.N.A podcast at the end of any link that you have. That'll let them know we sent you. If a slider shows up for you to donate to or give money to the G.N.A podcast, slide it all the way down to zero, give it all to charity, throw a couple bucks to Humble Bundle, give some to the developer. We don't want your money. We just want to know that we sent you there. So the more charity, the better. We have a website, www.gnapodcast.com. Go check it out. We've got some links up there to our store. So if you want to go check out our G.N.A gutter shots and order some swag, you can go order it from there. You can also check out the articles link, which sends us over to Microbrew Gamer's site, and he's been doing some new articles lately. Go check him out. We love him. Love him a long time. That's about it. Did I miss anything? I'm looking, I'm hoping. I don't remember. I'm drunk. Like, I've been drinking. So I actually don't remember right now. Well, I'm hoping I did. Well, thank you, Erin the Destroyer, Zyberblood. Thank you so much for joining me tonight.
Absolutely, man. Even though you got drunk and didn't see any tits.
God, I hope Erin, Jamie's friggin' boyfriend, is listening to this because, God, fuck him so much. I said I liked him because she's my friend. I'm supporting her, but man, that dude was a fucking cunt. He really was. God damn it. All right. Have a good night, all.
Good night, brother.